Okay, what's up, everybody? Good evening. Disappointing for sure. LSU loses to North Carolina 4-3 in 10 innings, and the season comes to an end. Definitely a gut punch. I think the hardest part, too, about this one is you did the heavy lifting on Sunday. And the hardest thing to do is to go win 2 elimination games in one day. And in one of them, you were down 5-0 in the first inning. You won that when you came back and you beat the rested home team. And in the final 4 innings, they left 10 men on base. That was supposed to be the hard part. And man, for this one to go the way it did, and you're sitting there in the 9th inning with the lead, you're the home team, you're 3 outs away, and you got Gage Jump on the mound. Man, I don't know that you could have dreamed a realistic, better scenario than that. But you made some mistakes in the final innings and throughout the game, and they made you pay for them. So we'll talk about it. Welcome in, everybody. We're glad to have you aboard with us. I know our YouTube audience is building, so we appreciate that. Drew's excited about something in there. He obviously doesn't care about baseball. If you would smash that like button, subscribe up to the channel, as we always say. If you're on Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. We appreciate you for being there as well. I do have a pour with me, so I'll have a pour. We'll hang out tonight. Whistle Pig Summer Stock. I got to give a big shout out to my guy Rooney Email over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. He swung by the radio station today and dropped this off. It's the Pit Viper limited edition. That's the sunglasses. You can see the pig on the Whistle Pig is wearing them as well. So big shout out to Rooney. Great guy, man. Good friend. And appreciate his thoughtfulness and generosity. I said, you know what, man, I'm going to bust that open tonight on Nightcap as we do a post game. And here's hoping we're celebrating a win. Instead, we'll just toast the 2024 baseball season as we bid it adieu and talk about what's next for LSU baseball. So I'll go ahead and pour this. If you got something in your glass tonight, let me know what it is. You know, if you're celebrating a good season, certainly could have been better. But if it's that, or if you're drowning away your sorrows, either way, I'll join you. So beautiful. Really cool bottle too. Got this like iridescent top there and all that good stuff. So I'll let this thing open up a little bit. Ooh, it's beautiful, beautiful on the nose. Floral, very good. Sip that in a second. All right, get your questions in. We'll answer them here. I'm certain where we'll start is there's a couple things I want to make sure that I get in first. The first question from Cameron is, what are the positions in need Jay will target? We'll talk about that. Umpires, I don't know what that's about. LOL, just joke. Got it. Sorry. Greenlear, the error in the outfield killed us. It did. Rough night for Jake Brown in the outfield. It wasn't just the error in the 10th, but in the first inning, there was a liner, a hit right at him at center, and he pulled up instead of running forward and making the catch, and that run ultimately came to score. And then obviously the error in the 10th. Look, Jake Brown homered in this game, and he had a really solid freshman year, and he's going to be a great player. But it was a rough game defensively for him. Bill said, rough game. Think Jay outcoached himself taking Ack out. All right, so Bill, that's where I do want to start, because I want to get through a lot. We got to talk about Will Helmers because he deserves our kudos. And unfortunately for Will Helmers, the most brilliant outing of his career it's going to be forgotten, because legacies are made in June in the LSU program. And that was a great postseason performance, but it came in a loss. And I can think of a lot of great performances throughout LSU's history, but they came in a loss or in a team that didn't advance. And we just don't think of them. We don't remember them the way we will. Hi, baby. Yeah, Baton Rouge General. Okay. Drew's fired up. Okay, bud. And if you're noticing my Band-Aid, I had like a lump on my neck and got a steroid injection in the lump to try to kill it. It's not cancer or anything. It's like an ingrown hair that grew into a lump. Anyway, that's what that is. So, I'd put it to you this way. If I told you at the beginning of this regional, LSU is going to fight through the losers bracket and they're going to have the lead on North Carolina going into the 9th inning, and Gage Jump is going to be on the mound 3 outs away from advancing, we all would have taken it. Every single one of us. And tonight, when they went to Gage Jump in the 9th, I understood it because of the exact scenario I just said. You had the lead, your best pitcher is available, and they hit him. And you committed a costly error, and that's what it is. I know there are going to be some of you saying, why did he take Ackenhausen out? That is what I always say about baseball. If you have sound logic for the decision you made, then you got to live with the result. And what I just said, anybody would take. Going into the 9th inning with the lead and giving the ball to Gage Jump. Everybody would have been okay with that. Don't say you wouldn't, because you're a liar if you try to say the other way. It's easy to say now, like Bill did. Jay outcoached himself taking Ackenhausen. It's easy to say that when you know the result. What if Gage Jump went in there and just suffocated them 3 up, 3 down, and you win and you advance? Oh, brilliant job. Hindsight's 2020. What if you throw Ackenhausen in the 9th and he gives up the leadoff double? And then you go, man, you had Gage Jump ready. That's the point. That's why I don't have much tolerance for hindsight. Like, you know the result, so it's easy to say. Because if I would have come to any of you in your homes or wherever you're watching the game, and at the start of the 9th, I said, all right, bring it in Jump, pitch the 9th, every one of you would have been all right with it. You'd have been fine with it. And I was fine with it. So, I mean, here's the reality. You made the decision to start Sam Dutton, and he allowed 3 straight hits to start the game. Now, one of them was the liner to center that Jake Brown should have caught. Period. He got crossed up on his footwork and decided to pull up instead of making the catch, and that should have been a catch. Instead, back-to-back-to-back hits. You went and got Javen Coleman, who is not a strike thrower. We talked about it. If you were here yesterday or this morning or on AFR, Javen Coleman in 24 innings pitched, 19 walks. So what does he do? Comes out of the bullpen in a bases-loaded situation, 4-pitch walk, walks in a run. Now, to Coleman's credit, he got the ground ball double play and the flyouts to get out of the inning. But the real story after that, so, I mean, you're down. And then, look, you came back and you got a run in the first. But if we're going to be real honest, you should have gotten more in the first. It could have been better. Tommy White led off the game with a single. Then Milam strikes out. Jones is hit by a pitch, and then there's a wild pitch. So you got second and third, 1 out. Pearson grounds out to second. White scores. And then Braswell could have come up right there with a knock to tie the game, and he flew out on an 0-2 pitch. I mean, you had some opportunities in this ball game, and you tip your cap, man. Matty Mateus, look at them, Brown, solo homer. Bear Jones, solo homer, gave you the lead. And that held up because Will Helmers was, excuse me, but fucking incredible. The performance of Will Helmer's life. In what was the final outing of his college career, he gave you a career-long outing in this ball game when it looked like you went Dutton, Coleman, Helmers. I mean, you weren't even through the second inning. I mean, Dutton didn't record an out. Coleman got you an inning and a third. So there's 1 out in the second, and you're bringing in Helmers. And all of a sudden, you're looking going, how are you going to get 27 outs? And Helmers gave you 5 2/3 of shutout ball. Struck out 4. Only allowed 2 hits. He was fucking awesome, man. Cheers to Will Helmers. I mean, to take the ball in that situation, to go out there and serve up 71 pitches, a career-long 5 2/3 innings, when your team just had to have it, when that game was so unsteady. And they brought in Matty Mateus, who we talked about is their best reliever. Now, Pence is their closer who finished the game. But Mateus had 51 innings pitched. He was rested because he hadn't pitched since Friday. They had a distinct advantage because of Mateus. And Helmers completely neutralized that. 5 2/3 shutout was awesome. And the unfortunate part is history's going to forget that. Like, the diehard will remember the game and maybe what Helmers did, but we'll always remember Ty Floyd striking out 17 Florida Gators in the College World Series Championship Series because of where it happened. We'll always remember what Ackenhausen and Herring did last year in Omaha because of where it happened. The great outings that happen on teams that don't advance get forgotten. I'm not saying it's fair, but that's sort of the reality of it, man. But Helmers was awesome. He deserves our respect, man. What a hell of a game. Just so disappointing, man. Just so disappointing to be there in the ninth with the lead as the home team and jump on the mound, and he gives up the double and then the little bloop single off the I mean, in pro ball, that's a broken bat, bloop out to the shortstop. With a metal bat, it's a single. It's an RBI single on a 2-strike pitch. So, I mean, you only mustered 5 hits in the game, Struck out 9 times. Just not enough competitive at-bats to muster enough offense. But even still, you had the lead, man. You had the lead at the end of the game and an opportunity to win it in 3 outs, and you didn't get it. So, season ends, and it's, it's massively disappointing. I was very surprised Jump went back out for the 10th. I thought for sure we'd see Ulloa there. And in the 10th, you got D'Onofrio to fly out and then Osuna to strike out. And right there, I mean, there's 2 outs. You get the fly ball to right by Castagnazzi, who is the pinch hitter. And that's the one Brown missed. I mean, you should have been 3 up, 3 down in the 10th, going to the dugout with a chance to win the ball game. And instead, you got a run on second. You intentionally walk Gallagher, and then Madera singles on the 3-2 pitch. So, I mean, just massively disappointing because you were in a position to win the game. And I'll put it to you this way too, and I'll get to your comments. North Carolina was the number 4 national seed. The number 4 national, they are the number 4 national seed. And you went there and beat them last night and were, 2 outs away from beating them again. And this is an LSU team that was 3-12 in conference play at the halfway point. This is an LSU team that went into the final weekend of the regular season knowing you had to sweep to have a chance, and then went to the SC tournament knowing you had to beat Georgia to feel confident about getting in. And all that, but for a blown save, you're hosting a super regional against West Virginia. So, look, North Carolina's a good team, man. They're a great defensive team. And ultimately, that was the difference. They robbed you of hits time and again, and your defense had a couple of miscues that let you down. I think LSU, their shading defensively continues to baffle me. I know Mark Wanaka is the one that controls that, and it's stunning to me how many times you see rolling ground balls get through the infield because LSU's out of position, while similarly you see North Carolina in position to make every play. But, I mean, this was my point is, this was an LSU team that really struggled to find itself. You found yourself near the end of the season. You got hot when you found out your identity and who you were. And I mean, you're telling me Arkansas has already been eliminated. North Carolina is the number 4 national seed. You were going to get a home super regional against West Virginia. You're 3 outs away. You got your ace on the mound to get 3 outs, and you blow it. That stings. In 2010's a comp. You win the national title 2009, you come back in 2010, tons of expectation, and you really struggled. 2010 team struggled. They got hot at the end of the year. They won the SEC tournament. They get sent as a 2 seed out to LA, and they ran up against UCLA with Trevor Bauer and Garrett Cole, and you got bounced. I mean, okay, like you were an okay team. They were a really good team, and you got bounced. This didn't feel like that. Like North Carolina doesn't feel like a team that's going to go win the national championship. That feels like that was a regional you could have and probably should have won. You were 3 outs away from winning. So, bummer, man. All right, we'll get to y'all's comments here. I know a lot of people want to talk about this and what's coming up next year as well, so we'll get to all of that. Wesley said, sucks you wasted Helmer's outing, no doubt. Christian, great season, tough ending. It was not a great season, Christian. By LSU standards, being 3-12 or being 13-17 in the conference is not a great season. Not being at home for the postseason is not a great season. This was a brutal season by LSU standards where they finished strong, were playing their best, and had a chance to advance and blew a game at the end of a regional they had won. Should have let Ack finish. Jay made a bad decision. Again, talked about it a little bit ago. Hindsight's 2020. You could say that now because you know the result. But what if Jump had gone out there 3 up, 3 down, you advance? You're praising it. So I'm just not going to let that fly here. It's a bullshit comment, man. It's a bullshit comment by people when you have the benefit of hindsight. So what if Ackenhausen had gone out there and given up the leadoff double and the bloop single? And then you're going, shit, man, you had Gage Jump ready to go. Why didn't you go to Gage Jump? So I ain't got no tolerance for that tonight. Matt French, how's the whiskey? It's great. So it's 86 proof, Matt. Floral nose. Little caramel. So this is interesting too. I want to get the mash bill on this. So 86 proof is really approachable for anybody. And I love ryes because of their spice. Pepper and tobacco, like you'd expect from a rye. Put some floral notes. Really good, man. It's very good. Full bodied, especially for an 86 proof whiskey, which is mild. So it's really good. Everything Whistle Pig does is great. Palumbo has poured the Willet 7-year rye purple top. The purple top's not a rye. I mean, I have the Willet 7-year up there, but it's not a purple top. We lost this game. Yes, LSU lost the game 4-3 and 10. Cortland, you get one extra run in 6 innings, you win in 9. Or if you just get 3 outs in the 9th inning. S. Young, wasted season. Better get the cash to sign Connor Griffin. Keep Bear for another year. Replace Tommy with UNC's third baseman. Get Wofford's ace. So you're not going to get Connor Griffin. I think you need to realize that. Connor Griffin's going to be a top 15 pick, and he's going to make $5 or $6 million, and he's going to sign, and he should. Same thing with William Schmidt from Catholic High. Like, you're not getting those guys here. So what I do think is realistic, I absolutely believe LSU is going to go sign a starting pitcher in the portal. I do believe they are looking for a third baseman in the portal. And, you're going to go get a power bat as well. So they're going to hit the portal, no doubt. I think it'll be interesting to see who else from this team doesn't return. I mean, you can start with the guys that aren't on the postseason roster, like Zeb Ruddle, for example. Some of them, you could look at the draft eligible sophomores. I think Bear Jones is going to get. Someone's going to pay that dude 7 figures, and he's going to sign as a draft eligible sophomore. I think Griffin Herring is going to be really interesting as a draft eligible sophomore because if he comes back, he's going to want the opportunity to start, which he deserves. But so does Cade Anderson. Cam Johnson was, a projected top 10 pick in the draft who passed on $2.5 million to come here. And you're going to give him the opportunity to start as well. Chase Shores is coming back off of injury. You expect Chase Shores is going to be in your rotation. I don't know. I don't know that you have enough. I mean, you don't have enough spots in the rotation, especially if you go get a starting pitcher out of the portal, which I expect they're going to do. So, what does he do? Kling, I think, is a potential transfer risk. I've given you the example of Mac Bingham. Bingham hit 350 at Arizona. He hit 250 in the SEC. It's a big difference in the leagues. So I think Kling, who's a 220 hitter right now, if he goes and transfers somewhere in the American, plays center field every day and hits 300, probably benefits him. Go get 200 at bats in a lesser league and hit the ball. And plus, I think Jake Brown's your everyday center fielder. I know that's probably not going to sit well with people right now, considering the 2 missed plays he had in the outfield today. But Jake Brown's a great athlete. He's the number 1 player in the state, and he homered tonight. He's going to be a really good player for you. Today was a rough day in the field where he had 2 defensive miscues that cost you. But you had a freshman playing center field in a big game, and then obviously he moved over to right field when Kling went in. But tough, man. Jim Allen. Find your effing outfield and stop switching, especially when the game starts in daylights. Yeah, Jim, the switching is, though, he's not just carelessly switching his outfield. He's looking for pinch hit opportunities and pinch run opportunities as well. So, it wasn't like he just decided we're going to switch the outfield. They pinch hit for Ashton Larson. And so when Ashton Larson went to the bench, Kling went into the game. And Kling went to center and Brown went to right. So Pearson went to left. I mean, what the fuck you want him to do, man? They brought in the lefty reliever. Instead of having Larson go up against the lefty reliever, they brought in the righty and Ethan Fry. Now, I could talk about that. Jay loves Ethan Fry for some reason. And Ethan Fry is a 180 hitter. Ethan Fry had 1 game all year where he hit. It was like he had a couple hits against Florida. And he ain't hit since. I don't understand it. I mean, he looks good in the uniform, and I'm not trying to bag on the kid. I mean, I'm sure he's a great talent and could develop, but I'm talking about the reality of the situation. And when again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. These are still young people that are out there trying their best, but I also think it's on coaches to make sure they put these young people in positions to succeed. And, my God, look at Ethan Fry this year. I mean, he finished the season, or went into tonight, 232. If I look at SEC only for Ethan Fry, SEC only, hit 185. I mean, 185 with a 241 on base percentage. In 27 SEC at bats, Fry struck out 11 times. He had 3 hits and 21 at bats. What are you doing? I guess, Jim, I'd rather have that conversation. Why are you giving an at bat to Ethan Fry instead of Ashton Larson, who, by the way, Larson this year hit 337 in conference play. Next up was Tommy White at 318. Ashton Larson at 20 points higher than Tommy White, your next best hitter in SC play. That's a conversation I'll have. Why did you pull Larson? I get it, lefty, but why did you pull Larson in that moment? Not why did Kling go? Kling went in because you fucking pulled Larson. You pinch hit Ethan Fry, and you weren't putting Ethan Fry in the fucking outfield. So that's why you put Kling in the outfield and you rotated. I mean, what are we talking about here? You're asking the wrong questions. Anyway, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe up to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Drew said this program is in great hands. If this is a down year, man, many more fun Junes ahead. I agree with you, Drew. To be very clear, man, I think Jay Johnson's obviously the right guy to lead this program, and he's awesome and is going to win more championships here. And the incredible thing, and I know Jay's told this story before, and I'll tell it to you here. After his first season, when they lost the regional at Southern Miss, he went to his room and he said, like, when the season ends, he doesn't know how to decompress. He just has to go start to work on the next year. And so he was in his hotel room in Hattiesburg, and he opened up the portal and saw Paul Skeens went in, called him right then. Like, that's what Jay Johnson's doing right now. So yeah, I think LSU's in great hands. What I will say is they missed this year. They missed. They thought Mac Bingham was going to be an everyday player and a veteran leader. Like, Mac Bingham in conference play hit 200. I mean, you missed, you know. Luke Holman was obviously awesome for you. It took a while for you to get Gage Jump going. And maybe that in part was, you know, if Thatcher Hurd, regressed this year until, his last outing. Maybe that's Nate Yeske. Maybe it's just another voice, whatever. But, like, the point is, you missed on a lot this year, and you got to fix that, man. Craig, do y'all think Blake money transfers? Cam, let's see, ATX. Cam Johnson is a freshman going into the season. LSU didn't need him. But that's another guy that we all thought coming out of fall, Cam Johnson was going to be a guy that could be in the rotation. Kevin, Jake Brown will be an animal. I agree with you, Kevin. Jake Brown, I don't worry about Jake Brown. It's just a young guy who had a rough day, man. Jake, he needs to catch 1,000 fly balls tomorrow. I'm sure he will. Robbie White, what's up, Robbie? If you count on a true freshman starting pitcher, then you're not built for Omaha anyway. You're talking about North Carolina. Yeah, they're the guy who started tonight, DeCaro, was a freshman. I mean, I guess seen a lot of true freshmen be great. I mean, Nola was in the rotation as a true freshman. Gosman was in the rotation as a true freshman. We've seen good ones. Why not swap Brown and Pearson? What do you mean? Like, why did Brown go to right and Pearson in left? You're going to put your better arm in right. Let's see. Jimmy Guidry, if Bear leaves, go get Petrie from South Carolina. I don't know if he's going in the portal, but he could. I mean, I don't know if y'all noticed, but Mark Kingston, the South Carolina coach, got fired today. So I guess there's always a possibility that some of those guys from Carolina could go in the portal. Braswell, speaking of which, is another guy worth keeping an eye on. Some of the some of the convos I've had with scouts about Braswell, they're not sure if he gets drafted. So, it could be a thing with Braswell where, do you come back for another year, take a little NIL, play another season, try to get to Omaha, win a championship, increase your draft stock, which gives you a better opportunity of making a team, right? We'll see. CB Allen said MJ Seo at shortstop next year. I don't discount Stephen Milam at shortstop next year. I think there's a real shot that Milam is your starting shortstop next year. But you've also got Kucherak, you've got Seo, and they're going to go into the portal and get an infielder, probably a third baseman. So just something to keep an eye on. Sorry, y'all. I'm a little out of order on these comments. My apologies. I'm doing my best. Like, there's 900 of you watching. I'm very grateful for that. So thank you all for being here. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Quick opportunity to remind you about Parrish Construction and Roofing. A lot of terrible weather here the past few days. If you have an issue with your roof, we'd love to help you out. Parrishbuilt.com. Parrishbuilt.com. We got Parrish pinned in the chat as well. So if you would just click that link, you can fill out the form on the homepage. We'll get to you. Man, these are going fast. Where are we? Let's see. Thomas, Miles needs to be short. Jeff said, thoughts on Nate Yeske? Yeah. I could legitimately say before the postseason, if I asked you who improved, not sure I could give you an answer. Hurd regressed. Jump got better by the end of the season. Holman was really good all year. Little, not until really the last week of week of the season into the SC tournament did we really see Little start to emerge? I mean, that's another thing we got to talk about. I mean, how unfortunate that you didn't have Christian Little. Like, how different is this look if you had Little available in this regional? So, Cam Johnson had tremendous expectation, didn't live up to it. I guess my point is, man, there's not a lot of meat on the bone for Yeski this year. There's not a lot for him to there's not a lot of skins on the wall for him this year. In his career, yes. I mean, he's been a championship coach. I mean, at Oregon State, he was with Jay at Arizona. He was at A&M last year. I mean, he's got a great reputation as a pitching coach, but this year wasn't great, man. They got better late. I think a big part of that was shortening your staff a little bit instead of trying to find guys to count and say, all right, these are our guys, and roll with them in their situations. But yeah, not great this year, man. Bring that UNC third baseman to LSU. He was great, man. Defensively, he was awesome. Derek, what does the recruiting class look like minus Schmidt and Griffin? Yeah, the one. So I'll tell you one thing that I'll do, and I'll probably do it tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. Is I'll run through my notes from scouts on the LSU baseball signees on this class. And so we'll have a really good sense of like who's going to sign, who will definitely show up, who's a 50-50 to show up. So Connor Griffin, Cam Caminiti, William Schmidt, you've got no shot. Boston Bateman was in who's a lefty from California. Boston Bateman was in Kylie McDaniel's mock draft last week as well from ESPN as a guy that was going to get top 30 money, even if he was like a sandwich round guy. So I think Griffin, Caminiti, Schmidt, Bateman, kiss him goodbye. You'll sweat Derek Curriel, who's an outfielder out of California. You got a catcher out of Texas. Let's see who else. Cade Fountain's a third baseman. There's another guy that they've got. Michael Ryan from Rummel is a guy I know they love. It's a great young high school player who just oozes LSU. John Pearson, Josh's brother, is a stud out of West Monroe who they expect to show up as well. And they have a JUCO. I always forget this kid's name. Trevor Schmidt, that's it. So Trevor Schmidt's a first baseman outfielder who he'll play first at LSU, but he signed with Jay at Arizona, but never played for Jay. So he signed with Jay, and then Jay took the LSU job. So he ended up playing a year at Arizona, transferred to Fullerton Junior College, and is now committed to LSU for next year. And he's expected to be the guy that replaces Bear Jones. So he'll be the guy that stands on first and clubs homers, basically. Alex, what are you most excited about next season? Not named Milam. I mean, I think Larson, Brown, Pearson in the outfield is going to be really formidable. I think Schmidt is likely your first baseman. Neal back at catcher. Another guy to keep in mind, I should have mentioned this as well, is Blaze Priester. Blaze Priester's from Live Oak. He was a guy that everybody thought was going to sign out of high school, ended up not getting his money, and ended up going JUCO. And he's actually on the team JUCO Team USA, and he's playing this summer for the Baton Rouge Rougarou. But we'll see, if the draft comes and he gets his number, then he's going to sign. But if not, he's a minimum day one DH and possibly your starting catcher. Like, he's probably he's definitely a better defensive catcher. He's a better hitter than Neal too. So Priester's one worth keeping an eye to. Austin, Matt, hopefully Iraq is not secretly happy baseball is over like my wife is. Oh, she's happy. She's not happy right now because I'm super bummed. And just very candidly, y'all, I mean, for me, like as a fan, of course, I love the Tigers and I want them to win, man. Like tonight was so like I'm just so emotionally drained right now because I was just sitting there so tense the whole game. And I love baseball. I mean, I've you know lived and breathed LSU baseball my whole life, man. I've told you that before. I mean, as a kid moving here in '89, you know, we'd go to baseball practice, and then my dad would take us to the box, and we catch the middle three on a school night, and then go home. And in the days when the regionals weren't televised, we'd go try to hustle tickets out at the box. And if we couldn't get tickets, we'd stand on the train tracks behind the third base bleachers and try to maybe look over the dugout or in that gap between the dugout and the bleachers and see what we could see. I love this program, man. And so I always wanted to win and do great. But so tonight's a bummer. But so anyway, mostly, yes, Erica's going to be glad that baseball is done, but not glad to have to like watch me mope tonight. But we'll get over it. Blake, I think Yeski should get another year. In my opinion, who else can realistically replace him that's his caliber? Well, honestly, Blake, when you're LSU, you're always going to be able to attract high caliber pitching coaches. Look at what you've done the last 3 years. You brought in Jason Kelly, then you went and got Wes Johnson from the Minnesota Twins. Bro, he left the Minnesota Twins to come coach LSU. And then you got Yeski away from A&M. So you're LSU, man. You're always going to be able to attract high-level coaches because you're going to pay. Who else is going to pay their pitching coach $400K? I mean, nobody. LSU will. Nobody else does that. So, they'll be fine. I think the bigger question, though, Blake, is consistency. Like, do you want a fourth pitching coach in as many years? I mean, I think that's a big part of this. So, anyway, LSU, thank you for everything this year, Matt. Still got AFR. Saints look forward to you. Got it, bro. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for watching. David Musso said Jay would have to convince Neil to stay. So number one, Neil is not a draft eligible sophomore. So would Neil hit the portal? Maybe. But again, like, what do you have behind him right now? I mean, I just told you have Priester signed. You have a freshman coming in as well. You could I think like that's another thing I think they will absolutely do is they will go in the portal and get a catcher. But your catchers on the roster are Neil, Milazzo, Travinsky, Bear Jones. Remember, Bear Jones came here as a catcher. Well, Jones played first. Travinsky's the DH. It really was Neil and Milazzo. Well, all of them except for Neil are gone. So I don't know. I mean, again, I didn't hear whatever Musso said, but convince him to stay unless if you're talking about him transferring. I mean, today Neil is your starting catcher next year. Now you got Priester coming in. You're probably going to you are going to go to the portal and add a catcher. So, that's part of it. But anyway. Robert Brocado said Gavin Guidry at shortstop next year. I don't think so, Robert. Like, Gavin hasn't played infield in 2 years. They let him give it some run in the fall. He hasn't taken a competitive at bat in a game in 2 years. Like, that's not where you're going to go. I mean, where you've got Kucherak and Seo and Milam already there, and you're going to go to the portal, and you got another class coming in. Like, Guidry's going to have to make a decision. That's another draft eligible sophomore that I could see. Like, if Guidry wants to go play in the field somewhere and hit, then he's got to leave because it's not going to happen here. That's a guy that was the number one player in the state, and they gave him an opportunity to win a job in the field last year, and Gavin Dugas beat him out at second base. I mean, Jordan Thompson was your shortstop, and Dugas won the job at second base. So, like, Guidry, if you want to contribute, you got to pitch. And so he pitched and ended up being on the mound for the final out of the College World Series, which is awesome. But if he wants to go play in the field, he's going to have to leave. And I think that's something LSU fans are probably going to have to get ready for. Like, you're going to have familiar players from this team enter the transfer portal just because there aren't enough spots for everybody. Like, I'll tell you another guy I worry about is Cam Johnson. Like, Cam Johnson passed on $2.5 million to come to LSU, and he wasn't even on the postseason roster. So, I mean, that's a guy who you had tremendous expectation for, and he really kind of crumbled under the pressure. It might be a thing where, what if Florida? He went to IMG. What if Florida State goes and gives him $750, like A&M gave Braden Montgomery? What if Florida State says, "Hey, Cam, we'll pay you $750. Come be our Friday night guy." Okay, that, or you try to win a role at LSU. I don't know. I'm not, guys. I don't know that that's going to happen. I'm not telling you it's going to happen. I'm just saying you're going to have to be aware of guys who might from this team, guys that you're like in football, young guys who you're excited to watch grow, might hit the portal in the same way they do in football, have an opportunity to go make money somewhere and get a better opportunity to play. So, Trey, can we get Nolan Cain to come back? I mean, Nolan isn't a pitching coach. I'd be interested. I mean, Jay handles so much of the recruiting, and Nolan's a great recruiter. Please don't misunderstand me. I mean, Nolan was the guy who was hitting the recruiting circuits. And I would love to see Nolan back. Please don't misunderstand me. But if you're asking as a pitching coach, I don't know that makes sense. NIL allows you to get guys like Griffin if donor steps up. That's just not true. Like Connor Griffin, like there aren't LSU donors that are going to pay Connor Griffin $4 or $5 million what he's going to get in the draft. So no, you're like, again, like Braden. I'll give you the example. Braden Montgomery, who LSU wanted from Stanford. He's a kid from Mississippi. LSU was in the mix for him. A&M gave him $750. He went to College Station. Right? LSU wanted him, and he would have been your starting right fielder and probably your closer. Then he batted in the middle of your lineup, and he was awesome this year. He had 350 at A&M with 20 bombs. Like, he's awesome. Like, you're not going to give Connor Griffin $3 million to come to campus, or $1 million a year over 3 years to come to campus. Like, you're not going to do that. So you got to just understand that's not going to happen. Look out for Ethan Schiefelbein at UCLA, top transfer LSU next year. All right, Chase. Thank you, bro. I'll keep an eye on it. Gary Williams, we fielded 4 other Louisiana schools and regionals. Are we getting all the top-notch Louisiana kids? Yeah. I mean, LSU's getting the pick of what they want, man. But LSU also casts a wide net, You go get Ashton Larson out of Kansas City. You go get Gage Jump from UCLA. You go get Paxton Kling from Pennsylvania. Yeah, I mean, look, the 2 best players in Louisiana this year were Cade Anderson and Jake Brown. You got them both. I mean, yeah, you're going to get the best players in the state, but you're LSU, and you can go to Florida and get Dylan Cruz. You can go to New Mexico and get Alex Bregman or Stephen Milam. Those worked out, AirTech, is Brock still a sponsor? Yes. So Brock sponsors Morning Scone. Love our friends at Brock. They're fantastic. This isn't Morning Scone. This is just my live stream I'm doing. So I'm sporting my Parish hat. And of course, y'all know I'm a equity partner in Parish. So, we were a different, partnered with a different company for the last 3.5 years. I think I mentioned y'all, we mutually agreed, very amicable to go our different directions, just different visions of how we move forward. So we made the decision collectively, hey, let's just separate. So me and Terrio and Tilly, all our group, all of our same people here, just split and started a new company. So, I mean, I've been very candid with y'all. It's a challenge because you spend all that time, 3.5 years, building up name recognition and brand equity and all the work we did with the other company. And you kind of start from zero. I mean, it's all the same people, with all the same knowledge, the know-how, we even still have the same phone number. We're just a new brand that people don't know. So, I mean, honestly, it's why I do something like this. There's 1,000 people watching. I can put on my Parish hat, put the logo there and say, hey, give us a shout, scroll the number at the bottom, pin the website in the chat. And hopefully some of y'all, if you had roof issues, you give us a shot, man. We're the same people, even the same crews, like that come to your house. We're just a new company. So, parishbuilt.com. Let's see. Milazzo's out of eligibility. Yes. Slimbo, shout out to Ronnie Rance. I did mention that Priester's playing for the Rougarou. Maybe you jumped in late. I did mention that. Shout out to my guy. Saw Slimbo over at the. Tell you what, man, I was at LeBear's Saturday for the I was at LeBear's Saturday for the UFC VIP event we had, and I saw Ronnie there, and he's got on a green jacket from Pierce Bespoke. Beautiful, by the way. They do great work. If you want a custom jacket or suit, shout out to those guys. They do awesome work. And he opens up his jacket, and it's got the Rougarou in the satin lining is all the Rougarou logos. Pretty fine. Brian Laplace, where's your Evan Moore bottle? Drank my last one today. Literally drank my last 64-ounce one today. Good reminder. I need to go buy more. Does Parish Construction Roofing do other jobs besides roofing? Yeah, absolutely. If you go to the website, you'll see it's roofing, it's waterproofing, it's restoration. Like, I'll give a hat tip to Terrio and Tilly. Like, I'm not part of those businesses, but they bought half of y'all have heard me talk about Mold Zero and Pure Restoration. They heard me talking about it and partnered with Jim Woodworth, and they own half that company now, or maybe it's like 49%, whatever it is. So it's now they're rebranding it to Parish Restoration. So demo, build back, yeah, all of it, man. Electrical, they do all of it. Dax, does Parish have a jingle yet? Well, as a matter of fact, hang on. While I was watching the game, Toby Tompley sent me this. I tried to play this for y'all earlier, but you said the audio was terrible. So let me turn it down, see if this works. Let's listen. I don't know if y'all could hear it. Y'all always tell me when I play music, y'all can. I don't know if y'all could hear it. Every time I play music, y'all tell me y'all can never hear it. So, let's see. Hey, Rocky spoke with Richard Tilley today. Good dude. He is a good dude. Hal, what's going on? Richard, let's see. So, Burrow of Wilhelmer, as I coached him, that has to be proud. He was awesome, man. Will was great today. Game of his life in his final outing when his team had to have it, and it's disappointing the game went the way it did. This is actually therapeutic. I'm feeling much better now, just talking to all of you. But anyway, Darren said, Matt, did you cut yourself self-shaving? No, Darren, I did not. That is, so a few weeks ago, I felt like a lump right there, and I thought it was an ingrown hair. And so I kept trying to like dig out an ingrown hair and like pop it and all this stuff, and it wasn't going away. So I went to the doctor today, and they said it probably was an ingrown hair, and it just built up like a shell around it of tissue, whatever. So they injected it with a steroid today to drain it and everything. So that's what that is. I don't know why I couldn't hear that. Yeah. All right, let's see. Gray Schuler, can we hope Jump never steps foot on our campus again? So embarrassing. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Like, seriously, Gray, get the fuck out of here. By the way, it's nightcap, so we curse. Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? That dude has been fucking nails for you this year. And then he goes out after dude with a fucking MLB future, a top 50 draft pick, got 7 figures on the line. Goes on Friday and throws 105 pitches. On 2 days rest, comes back and gives you 2 innings. And your little bitch ass is going to say, hope he never steps foot on our campus again. Fuck you, man. You're the worst part about fans. Seriously. You are the worst part about fans. 21-year-old young person putting everything on the line. Already had Tommy John coming back on 2 days rest. Your bitch ass is going to sit there and say he's so embarrassing. You're fucking embarrassing. Get the fuck out of my chat. Banning you, you asshole. Fuck you. Get out of here. The fuck out of here. Let's see. What are the chances Travinski gets drafted? He may be like a senior take. So like sometimes if a guy is a senior, like they don't have any leverage, right? So they're not going to get any money. And so if a team, let's say they want to overspend in their draft slot and their draft pool for a certain player, and they could save somewhere else by taking a senior. Like I know I've given this example a million times. So like, and I don't mind saying it because Kramer told us on the air. So after his junior year in 2016, Kramer was offered like 350 or 400, somewhere around there, when he went in round 32. He came back for his senior year, went in round 4 and got like 120K. He got like half the amount in round 4 that he was offered in round 32. It's just what happens when you have no leverage. So you just take what they give you. What did Gavin Dugas tell us he got last year? Like 25K, maybe something like that. I might be wrong on that number exactly, so please don't quote me. But anyway, so that's my point. Like, yeah, there's a team that may draft Travinski, give him 25K, and bring him to camp. So, like that, he could be like just a senior take for that reason. Yeah, see, so this says you can't convince me Connor Griffin's a better recruit than Cruz, and we got Cruz to come to college. What you don't know about Dylan Cruz is Dylan Cruz's family is wealthy. And Dylan wanted $6 million, and even if someone offered him $3 million, he wasn't taking it because he didn't need to. So he came to college, won a national championship, and got $9 million. That's an outlier. Guys that can pass on $3 million coming out of high school, that's an outlier. So yes, maybe I can't convince you that because you're naive and you don't want to hear it. But yeah, like that's what you don't know about Cruz and Cruz's family. And good for them. They're awesome people. And they're like, you would never know that they were wealthy the manner in which they are because they don't flaunt it that way. Dylan's dad's one of the most awesome fucking guys you'd ever want to meet. Like, I mean, awesome. Like George Cruz, awesome guy. But yeah, Dylan didn't need to take $2-3 million coming out of high school. Legendary third baseman Will Helmers, never forget. That's funny. This guy said, Matt, you think you know everything. No, I don't think I know everything, but I know what I know. And I also know what I don't know, which is why when I don't know things, I ask people that do. But then again, I'll remind you, friend, that you're watching my chat. So if you have a problem, just get the fuck out. Earl, great turnaround by Jay. What do you think? Yeah. I mean, a big part of it obviously was the schedule lightened up in the second half of conference play. But, I'll tell you, I think one of the mistakes he made early in the season, and maybe Jay will acknowledge this now that the season's over, was he had so many young, talented guys that he felt like he had to get playing time to keep people happy. And when that's the case, you don't build continuity. And so I think this team for half a year was trying to find itself, certainly trying to find its lineup, its rotation, and some identity. And once they finally did that, they started clicking against a manageable schedule. They got some belief and showed, yeah, man, you had two aces and Holman and Jump, and you got going. Safety razor scone should help with ingrown hairs. What's a safety razor? So candidly, I have that skull shaver I do for my head. It's an electric deal. You just do like this and shaves. I do that on my neck too. So that's how I do like head and then neck and jawline. So I don't use a straight edge on this. Cody, evening, Matt. Jay's going to bed, 2 starters, catcher depth, and a third baseman in the portal. One starting pitcher for sure. Yes, Travinski, Milazzo are out of eligibility. Yes, Wade, fuck that dude for sure. Not the players. He's talking about the guy. Here's that guy again. He's talking about the guy that was crapping on Jump. Jay Real, Griffin Herron, is he leaving? I don't know. The thing about Herring, so Herring's draft eligible. I don't think Herring's going to get a number because you don't pay relievers the way you pay starters. So I don't think Herring's going to the draft. What I think is possible for Herring is he's probably going to go to Jay with wanting assurances that they'll let him start next year, or at least have the opportunity to be a starter. And he should be. I mean, he showed you yesterday he can do it. Like, he can extend and he's great. So no problem with that whatsoever. But again, like, the question that Jay's gonna have to answer is, what do you do when you've got Herring, Cade Anderson, Cam Johnson? You go get a starter out of the portal. You got guys coming in like Chase Shores. I mean, just look. So Herring, Cam Johnson, Chase Shores, Cade Anderson, portal, freshman. I mean, even take out freshmen, you only got 3 weekend spots. One of those guys isn't going to be a starter for you. 2 of them aren't going to be in your weekend, right? So that's a challenge. I'm not saying it's impossible to manage, but it's a challenge he's got to manage. Dave Vendor, being from Orlando, knowing Cruz since he was 12, LSU was his only college consideration. Derek, whoever said that about jump, needs to kick boulders, not rocks. Coy, don't care what anyone says. I'm running through the gates of hell with Jay Johnson. Jay's great. Yeah, like, there is nobody, literally nobody. There is literally nobody else that I would take over Jay Johnson right now. I see, like, there's not a single coach in college baseball that I would take over Jay. Yeah. Reading all the comments about my comments about that guy about jump. Thank you all. Yeah, Patrick, welcome to Nightcap. Dax, are you mentally prepared to start talking about if our defense can stop a soul for the next 90 days? Dax, that is, like, so from a professional standpoint, y'all, that's the hard part, right? So the way our sort of schedule of seasons work is, when baseball ends, the next time we have live something, it's the second full week of July, when SEC Media Days. So that's the 13th or 14th, Monday the 14th. Or Monday, July 15th this year. So from now, June 3rd to Monday, July 15th, there isn't anything live local other than, like, some Saints OTAs and minicamp. So, like, this is the time of year where you do a lot of the offseason talking, which is why I always, when LSU baseball can take you as deep into June as possible, it's great. So last year was awesome. I mean, through the end of June, we were talking LSU baseball. So the fact that they bowed out on June 3rd emotionally sucks for me as a fan. Professionally, really sucks for Matt, the radio show host. Let's see. Good night, buddy. I love you. Sweet dreams. Drew's going to bed. Let's see. Glenn Scone Pax has to transfer, I would think. I think it's a real possibility. When you just look at the roster, I mean, I know I answered this before, so some of you may have heard it, like with Kling. Kling this year. So Kling's a great defensive outfielder, but he obviously has just not hit in 2 seasons. Like, it's been a real struggle for him offensively, which is why he doesn't play. Kling this year got Kling got 126 ABs and hit 222. Like, he needs to go somewhere where he's going to play center field every day and get 220 at bats and go hit 300. barring some massive transformation, that's not going to happen in the SEC. So if Paxton Kling left and was somebody's like if you went to East Carolina and was an everyday center fielder in the American and hit 300, that's probably a better path to the pros for him. Now, maybe he loves LSU and doesn't want to leave. And if that's the case, great. He's a great defensive center fielder and he'll have a role on the team. And maybe he keeps getting better offensively, which would be awesome. But we'll see what he does. But that's one that I would certainly think is a possibility to transfer. Yeah, Matt C, does Jake Brown go two-way next year? Kid was touching mid-90s in high school. He would have been a great pitcher on this team if they had done that with him. So, yeah, man, if they let him pitch, fine. I think that's ultimately him. What does he want to do? Do you want to be a two-way guy? If you do, it's because you think pitching is part of your future in the pros, because nobody does that. I mean, Shohei Ohtani, you realize there's only one Shohei Ohtani. Like, I don't think Jack Caglione's doing that at the next level. There's been great two-way guys in college that didn't do it at the next level. Brian Johnson at Florida was one of them. He's the SEC pitcher of the year. I mean, he didn't pitch in the pros. Or he wasn't a two-way guy in the pros. All right, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe up to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Earl, how ranked so high to start, finish so low? Kind of went through that, man. Yeah, I mean, big part of it was it took them 2 months to figure out their lineup and figure out who they were and a rotation. And if Thatcher Hurd, we all expected to have a great year and didn't. So when that guy starts the season as your Friday night, the guy won the national championship game for you, 6 innings of 2-run baseball. You're expecting him to be your Friday night guy, and he literally isn't even pitching for you by the end of the season. That stings. There's a lot, David said, Matt, you didn't see Gary's other comment? I didn't. I don't even know who Gary is. Sorry. Let's see. Jay broke the curse. Nobody said, what curse? Brad Vignair, 91 days till football. All about sports. If Jared Jones gets picked, how much do you think he's offered? Well, keep in mind, like, if he gets picked, he's leaving. Because MLB teams have their draft pool, their slot money pool in the first 10 rounds. So if he gets picked, it means that he's already agreed to terms. So guys that get picked in the top 10 rounds are signing because they've already agreed. So like what happens is a team will call and say, hey, we're going to take you here. Will you accept X? And if it's yes, then they pick them and they sign. Like, players that are selected in the first 10 rounds always sign. Like last year, the exception was Kumar Rocker, who the Mets took 9th overall or whatever it was. And then they went back and were like, they didn't like his medical, so he didn't sign. But that was the one guy in 10 rounds that didn't sign. So if you're watching the draft and you hear Jared Jones' name in the first 10 rounds, he's signing. And I think he will. I think he's going to get 7 figures because the guy hit 28 bombs, man. If you watch pro baseball, like, that's what guys do. They strike. You go 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, but if the one's a 450-foot 3-run bomb, you take it. I mean, that's what it is. How about that? What about White's gamble on the bunt that got us an out? I mean, it was the right decision. I mean, you charge the baseball and you probably don't get the out at first anyway, or you let it roll and it's first and third, or you get the out. So you got the out. Greg, does Bear go second round? I think he will be a top 100 pick, and I think he'll get 7 figures and sign. Lisa, jump was awesome. Big part of LSU making it today's game. Absolutely. Gulf South, didn't Cruz drive his own Lamborghini to senior prom? I swear I heard a game announcer say that. Gulf South, you're getting your wires crossed with something that you heard me say and something that you sort of just jumbled up in your brain. Close, but not exactly. Christian Myers, any chance we get Jones to stay 1 more year and improve his draft stock? Sure, there's a chance, Christian, but not likely. Shane O'Mac, tough to win. White and Milam combined 1 for 10, your biggest game. Well, I mean, not just them. I mean, you had 5 hits. You scored 3 runs on 5 hits. But even still, you were leading in the 9th. You were 2 outs away. You were 2 outs away with Gage jump on the mound, and you lost. Jonathan Young, not nice things to say about the UNC fan. I'd be dead if someone gave me $3 million out of high school. Joey, appreciate it, man. Thanks for being there. Joey, I don't really mind the haters and the trolls. I actually just pray for those people. It's kind of sad. Like, I can't imagine. I really think about this. Like, I can't imagine being so unhappy in your own life that you take, like, when a second of your life, I think about this stuff. When a second of your life passes, you can never get it back. It's gone forever. Like, so, like, get to live and get to die and sort of thing. I'll never understand people doing things intentionally that make them unhappy. Or if you're so unhappy, you have to go try to shed your unhappiness on other people. So, like, that guy who made that comment, like, I would never, there's not a time in my life ever where I would spend precious moments of my life going into someone's YouTube chat or whatever that I hate and, like, spreading hate. Like, I just wouldn't fucking watch their shit or listen. I mean, whatever. No, I'm I'm not saying Connor Griffin's family is poor. What I'm saying is Dylan Cruz's family is exceptionally wealthy. There's a big difference. Like, I'm not poor. I make a great living. But if somebody offered me or my kid $3 million, they're taking the $3 million. There's a big difference. Get it? Got it? It's not binary. It's not super rich or super poor. There's this whole gigantic spectrum, right? I love this version of Matt Unhinged. I love it. That's who I am. You know, it's funny. Glenn said, I remember when Scone worked with Condon. Glenn, thank you. That's been a long time. But that's not even the most impressive thing. When I get impressed and when people say, I remember when you worked with Ed Bugs, because I started in radio in 2003, and from 03 to 06 for those 4 years, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I did news talk radio on WIBR and did some things I'm very proud of in my career. It's just nobody has any recollection of me ever doing that. So in those years, I actually worked with Richard at WIBR when he was doing mornings on Rock 93.7 and middays on 1300 WIBR. That's when Richard and I started working together, not 1210. So we go even further back than most people are aware of or know. Rick, Matt, Helmer's performance is more impressive than Russell Reynolds in the 17 Worlds. Yeah, I mean, Rock went 3 innings. Helmer's went 5 2/3, a career long, and didn't allow 2 hits and no runs. Yes, Helmer's was incredible. By anybody's standards, that was incredible. That's one of the most incredible postseason performances we've seen at LSU. Cortland, what exactly would help to improve Joe's draft? Oh, you're asking him. Yeah, nothing. I mean, he's not going to become an elite defender. He's not going to develop great speed. You know, you've got the power tool, and actually he cut down on the strikeouts this year, which was super impressive. So that's what they're drafting. They're drafting the power tool, and you know what that is. So, Sean, I get why JJ went to jump. I still would have left Ack in until he got in trouble and thought so at the time. He was fresh. He threw 27 pitches yesterday. I don't know how fresh he was. He did strike out the side in the 8th, which was awesome. But I also understand you had Gage jump, your best pitcher available, with 3 outs to go. What if you put Ackenhausen out there and let him get in trouble? Then you go to jump with a runner on second. What if Ackenhausen gave up the double and then you go to jump with then you'd be sitting here saying, why didn't you go to jump to start the inning? So I just don't do the hindsight 2020 thing, man. Jay's gonna have to find some power bats. Yeah. Robbie, could Griffin be a Dylan Cruz type situation? No. For reasons we already talked about, Robbie. That's been 15 minutes. You probably heard it. Okay. What did Sean say? Let's not forget my favorite show you did next to Whiskey and Wine, The Fastest Hour with Josh and Matt. Josh Innes and I did the fastest hour in 07, 08. Then he went to Houston. I kept doing it till 09 till I got hired, I guarantee. All right. Greg Lehman, you bring jump in 10 out of 10 times there. I agree with you, Greg. I mean, it's your best fucking pitcher. You're 3 outs away from advancing. You got your best fucking pitcher. 96 from the left side. Yeah, go get him. The thing I was surprised that they went back to him in the 10th. I thought in the 10th, Uyo or Guidry were coming in. All right. See, look at this, though. This guy said, happy we didn't get run ruled, but it's difficult to call us the powerhouse when the bats get cold. Yeah, but like North Carolina won the game in 10 innings, scoring 4 runs. I mean, baseball's hard. I mean, LSU last year, which was maybe the most talented baseball team we've ever seen at LSU, beat Wake Forest to advance to the championship series 2-0, and they didn't score until the 11th. So, I mean, the New York Yankees get shut out. It's baseball. You see, this is wrong. You take the guy nobody could hit 10 out of 10 times, a.k.a. Ackenhausen. But he's the guy nobody can hit until he gets hit. And so you look at matchups and you look at situation, and it's just a bullshit thing to look at with hindsight. Anyway. Yeah, but Gulf South, he should have been 3 up, 3 down in the 10th. I was surprised they brought him back out in the 10th just because of the pitch count. But then he should have been 3 up, 3 down if Brown catches the ball in right field. But he commits the error, which is 2-base error, then you lose the game. So, Joseph Lee, what is your question from above, Joseph Lee? Please understand, like, the comments are going very, 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 very fast. My apologies. I'm not skipping anybody's question. I apologize. It's just like it goes very fast. How many players do you think hit the portal from this team? You think we retain 20 out of 40? Let's look at who's out of eligibility. So the 20 out of 40, I don't know, because you got to look at who's out of eligibility and then who's going to sign, right? So, let's look at who will not be back definitively. Okay. Okay, so Napolt, Bingham, Ackenhausen, Helmers, Little, Milazzo, Travinsky. Those 7 are out of eligibility. Okay. So those 7 are out of eligibility. I think Jones's signing is 8. Jump will get drafted 9. Hurd, 10. Holman, 11. White, 12. So those 12, I think, are gone for sure. And then I think you look at portal, like you have to look at guys that haven't played, right? So like, does Mick Paul stay? Zeb Ruddle, Paxton Kling, Ethan Fry. I mean, these are all guys that you would assume would be transfer risks. What does Dutton do? Does he come back or does he go somewhere where he can pitch more consistently? Probably one of the freshmen leave, I would think. Like, I hate to think Cam Johnson would, but what if someone paid him a boatload in the portal and he left to go somewhere where he's going to be a starter? So, I mean, I think I just went through like 12, I think, that are definitively gone. And then, how many hit the portal? Let's say another 5, so 17. Maybe it gets to 20. Yeah, I mean, I think it could get to 20. So, all right. Do we ever think Josh Pearson will amount to a decent MLB draft pick, clutch guy? But the problem with Pearson is he doesn't have the measurables to project. And while he does have the power tool, the problem is he doesn't have the hit tool. He only hits 250. He's a career 250 hitter. He has big moments, which is awesome. The glove is average. The arm is average. The speed is average. So, like, he's a really good college player, right? He's a really good college baseball player. He's not the guy that you look at as a projectable big league player. It's not to say he won't get a shot. Of course he'll get a shot, but he's not someone that's projectable. All right. All right. Any more? Might be done, y'all. All right, thank you, Rick. I didn't see that. So Austin Rolling hit the portal today. So I mean, that's something we expect, right? Like, I expect like Zeb Ruddle's going to hit the portal. Like, there's some you expect, like the guys that don't play. You know who the names are. I'm not trying to speak out of turn or be disrespectful, but anyway. All right. AirTech, do you ever go back and read all the comments? Honestly, no, man. I do my best to keep up as we go, but no, not every one of them. I'm sorry. Yeah, Josh Pearson's brother is awesome and will probably be a contributor next year. Does Brown come back from the air? Does it destroy his I think Jake Brown's going to be just fine. I think he'll be your starting center fielder next year and batting in the middle of your lineup. He might be your leadoff hitter next year. I think he'll be fine. All right, y'all. Let's get out of here. It's 10:13. Let's go have a night, man. Get a good night's sleep, and we'll come back tomorrow. So appreciate y'all, man, all season. For those who jump aboard, do me a favor if you would, smash the like button if you're new, subscribe up to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Yeah, man, I just noticed Paul, who said this is the last time we get to see Tommy White suit up for LSU. Massive impact on this program, man. Hit the second most famous home run in the history of the program. His home run in Omaha, the walk-off against Wake, is second only to Warren Morris. You don't win the Natty last year without him. A great personality and embraced Baton Rouge and LSU, and he'll be loved forever. So thank you for mentioning that. It's a great point, Paul. All right. Appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for being here. Wish we had more games to do this for, but I guess we'll do nightcap on Wednesday throughout the summer, and we'll wait for football season. So, all right, y'all. Be good. Even the guy who was a jerk earlier. God bless you. I hope you have a great life, and many blessings upon you and your family. Okay. We'll see you. Peace. If this were 2002, I could have easily done it, Greg. I could have broken down the whole thing for you, man. Like 02 to 06, I had it nailed. Now, not so much. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you.